player had it. I think he wasn't.
That's so sick! Grand stratagem!
Does he have the showstopper here?
Oh, he does! Okay!
That's also gross.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is probably like the highest level match of Riftbound we've seen all day, and like I'm leaning forward in my chair, like I'm completely engrossed here. And all right, everybody, and welcome back to the LRCS. That's the Luxury Riftbound Champion Series. We are in round number 3 now. We just watched, I think, like 4 or 5 matches go in round number 2. What we're going to bring you is truly toxic. It is the Yi mirror match. My name is Anu. I'm joined by John, and we're going to just see what it's like here. John, you told me a little bit about this earlier. You said that this matchup was something that could be very, very lopsided. Give me the basics of what's going on here. Walk me through what we're about to see.
Yeah, so this matchup can be really, really feast or famine. We saw this in the last Yi mirror we witnessed, where someone got really ahead with a charm and then just kind of blew out the game. That's not uncommon in Yi mirrors. Going first is a very big advantage. Just because you get to move to board and then charm whatever they played. And if they don't have the pump spell, they get blown out on the spot. And then it's really hard to recover as you're drawing extra cards every turn after that. So
All right, well,
that is a slow start. That is, we really want a unit on turn 1. Not seeing one it pivots the whole situation I was just saying.
okay, well, how about that? How about a Clockwork Keeper from our right side Yi player, Yorick? It's going to be able to maybe get an early conquer on the Grove of the God Willows or the Dreaming Tree. Actually, that's kind of an interesting question here. What do you think is actually better to take in this matchup? Do you take the left or the top or the bottom battlefield?
I value the extra cards a lot.
Okay, from holding?
Yeah, I value the extra cards a lot because there's so many impactful cards. Like all the buffs, you really just want to dig through your deck.
Fair enough. Yeah, the Dreaming Tree is kind of interesting. I mean, like early on, I have to imagine that you'll have enough buffs in hand to like target, choose units and things like that. So you will be drawing a couple of cards, but like as the game drags on, you're not going to have um you're not guaranteed to have a buff every turn to proc on the Dreaming Tree. And I guess the other thing that's also kind of important is like if your opponent never tries to engage in combat with you at the Dreaming Tree, you will never have an opportunity to actually use the buffs in your hand to draw off the Dreaming Tree. So I think I agree with you. Grove of the God Willow is going to be where we're going to see a lot more fireworks happen early on. And it begins with Clockwork Keeper coming in, scoring the very first point.
Yeah, and with the E matchup, you kind of a lot of times you end up trading, and like one person controls one battlefield, the other person controls the other.
Oh, did my eyes see a charm? It did, yeah. So this is kind of interesting. Charm is going to target the first mate. Clockwork is going to bump up to 4 thanks to the Yi passive. But unlike the other games we saw, fortunately, Nolmnot has access to Zanya's. So even if they lose combat here, they'll be able to protect their first mate like you see there with the Zanya's. So kind of interesting. 1 mana destroy target Zanya's. Okay. And then how is Yorick going to finalize their turn? They're actually just going to play another unit here. First mate going directly into the base. That's going
I
to
really like that play.
Can you tell me why? What's up? What makes it?
Yeah,
What do you like
so
about it?
it sets up your clockwork to be back, and you have a 5-power unit defending instead, and your clockwork is now safe to be able to contest the battlefield the next turn.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the E gameplay is like nuanced and like who retreats at the correct timing.
All right, 5 cards in hand here for Nolmnot. How many of those cards are actually buffs that will help win combat? Actually, I'm seeing a lot of runes being tapped here. Oh. Snap fine, okay. Yeah, Snapvine makes a lot of sense. And then with only one rune open here from Yorick's side, we're almost guaranteed to get to resolve the carnivorous Snapvine effect the way we want to, and then that's going to allow the first mate to capture the Grove of the God Willows. One charm begets another, as Nolmont is going to charm the Clockwork Keeper that killed the first mate into another first mate. So it's kind of like revenge almost. But the more important thing is this is the exact type of behavior you were talking about where like nobody gets to keep a unit. It's just like charm, 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 and a lot of just high paced action. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like denying the draw from the Grove of the God Willows is that big of a deal.
Yeah, as I said, the whole matchup kind of, especially in game one, and game two, often usually if one player, there's this mini mind game where you don't reveal the battlefields, and then either both players reveal Grove or one player like Giga Brains and thinks, well, I'm going to put something else out, but then it's a Grove fight for 2 rounds in a row, basically, because the other player didn't Grove this round one. So we're probably going to see Grove from them game two, and then it's again going to turn into a Grove fight with a lot of.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting the way that the math all breaks down. Notably, now though, Nolm not going to be ahead here. Being the first person to secure their Snapvine onto the Grove means that. Oh, and they get Pit Rookie to buff the Snapvine. So that's looking at 6 base might, 1 from the buff, 2 from the Yi. That's 9 on defense. So I feel like Nolmnot is sitting kind of happily here. And we're hiding what is likely to be something like a Zanya's.
Yeah, the other thing it could be is the Cub, because of the way the triggers work in this game. You're still the defending alone trigger occurs before you reveal the Cub.
Oh, yeah. Cub is also kind of a cool one, yeah.
Yeah, because then it could be representing 10 power instead of Azanya's, which could just like maybe your 7 power guy dies, but you keep the battlefield, which ends up drawing. It's probably Zanya's because Cub isn't as common as Zanya's, but it definitely could be Cub, and he has to think about that when he goes into trying to take this back.
Yeah, Null not only has 2 cards in hand here. I'm assuming that one will be a buff. We actually haven't seen either player really play buffs out yet. Oh, and we just passed the turn here. And that's huge because that's going to be the first card that's drawn off of Grove of the God Willows.
Yep, and this is where the Grove advantage starts to really start snowballing.
I feel like even the first card alone is going to be enough to like seal the deal here, on average at least. But we'll see. The point lead is also growing here as Pit Rookie enters the Dreaming Tree. So now Dolnot has an engine online, both battlefields under their control, and they could even get like a second engine online if they want to start drawing cards off of the Dreaming Tree. This is not looking so great here for Yorick. Funny enough, right? Zanya's is actually another card that was affected by the rules update that came out this week, right? So normally hidden cards can only affect the battlefields that they're at, but Zanya's is one of the few hidden cards that when you reveal it, it actually applies to any unit that dies. And speaking of, that's White Flame Protector coming in to give Carnivorous Snapvine 8 extra might this turn.
Yeah, that's a huge swing.
Yeah, 14 might coming in. Yi is going to bump up the Snapvine from 7 to 9, the defending Snapvine.
Does he have the okay.
Ooh! All right, 9 plus 7 is 16. Goodbye, Snapvine.
Sheesh.
Yeah, saying it that way is not very descriptive, but goodbye to the attacking Snapvine. Yorick is not happy. I mean, you just tapped out entirely for this play that needed to win. It's not. And now the game continues to get worse as
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that like it's I doubt he can come back from this. I'm pretty sure this game is no I'm nuts. I mean, we'll continue watching and maybe there's some crazy comeback thing here, but this game looks pretty cooked right now.
yeah, I mean you're right. Like in order to come back, what kind of cards does Yorick need to have to sort of like have a chance at all? I mean, White Flame Protector number 1 was good, maybe White Flame Protector number 2?
Um Blitzcrank would do a lot right here because you could move White Flame into the 2 power unit area and then Blitzcrank the other guy into the White Flame area. And then you'd have a massive field that's hard to deal with. And then you have Blitzcrank coming back at their next turn um, to just do it over and over again, which is again why I said that this is one of the situations where if a player gets a Blitzcrank engine going, like they can actually come back from this. But most E players are not on Blitzcrank because it's not that crazy outside of the mirror match.
Yeah, I feel like Blitzcrank it would be like a sideboard card more than anything. Main deck, I don't know if I would expect to see Blitzcrank. Do you think it's a main deckable card?
If Yi puts out more results where it's like 3 to 4 in top cut, I think Blitzcrank could be considered to be movable to the main deck.
Okay, so it's a metagame adjustment then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a metagame call.
Okay. Well, this is kind of a damning position because Nullknot is already at 6 points and is threatening to win the game on their next beginning phase. So there is no choice here.
And also, him just leaving 7 open is extremely scary.
Yes, yeah. That primal
'Cause
strength
it's
we saw
probably
last turn, like imagine if
yeah,
there's another one of those.
like primal plus deny plus another pump spell, and it's looking real bad.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I think because of the Grove, or maybe it was just like going first and then snowballing that into the Grove, like if it drawing one extra card, like Nullknot is even on cards, ahead on board, ahead on points, has a plan for the next turn, even if, somehow this Carnivorous Snapvine dies, but there's probably a Zanya's face down already. Like it is grim here for Yorick, but we'll see if they have something. Maybe they have a primal strength of their own. Right combination of buffs. It is closed deckless, so for all we know, they could be Blitzcrank in the main deck. You can sort of tell Yorick here is looking at 5 cards and must have some options available. Otherwise, this would be windmill slam here. So that's a good sign that there might be a line here and they're hunting for it. The downside is that not only do you need to kind of just conquer this turn, one of the battlefields, what is your plan for the turn after? What do you do? In this situation, is there something that you can do here?
Um, it's pretty bad, especially if that's a Zanya's, which it most likely is. It's not looking too good. That is interesting. Is he gonna? But he gets really, really blown out by Primal though. He is just walking right into the wide open Primal. But I don't think he has a choice. There's this concept in card games called like play to your outs, like force them to have it. If he has it, he has it. But if he doesn't have it, like you're still losing anyway, so you have to force them to have it.
Okay, that was kind of it's interesting. I was wondering where we would swing in with the White Flame Protector. I feel like the whole sequence here, if Kiana is our best combat element, would lead me to believe that we're not really in a position to go after the Snapvine here. So why not just completely dominate by going after the Pit Rookie? Now, what's interesting to me though is we're still going to lose the Kiana in this combat. Pit Rookie's going to buff up from 2 to 4.
Yeah, but he has to do it because if he has primal, he just instantly wins the game if he doesn't send Kiana as well.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, there's the first discipline. So Rookie's going to be at 6 now after the Yi factors in. And also gets to draw a card from the Dreaming Tree too. So this is actually, we're going to draw not 1, but 2 cards in total.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Saying Defy here. Now, I do believe for the Dreaming Tree, you will still get to draw that card for targeting or for choosing your Pit Rookie. You won't get the extra 2 might from Discipline. The consolation prizes, you still get to draw a card here. So it looks like Nomlot probably going to lose this combat. Makes sense, though. Giant 8 might unit coming in hot. But it's also kind of set up quite nicely here to just double hold for the win. Because keep in mind, holding here means you're gonna draw an extra card at the start of your next turn, and you're gonna draw for turn. So that's massive amounts.
Gonna Zanya's this? Oh, he is gonna Zanya's it to save his guy.
Do you like this, Zanya's?
That is very interesting. He probably has done some math here that involves this guy staying alive. Because I would not Zanya's this unless this 2 power really mattered when I wanted to take back that area. And
Yeah.
it might. It might really matter.
Right. Ready up. Then draw a card for the Grove. Draw a card for turn. We're
Yeah,
looking
see
at
how the
one.
Grove, just holding the Grove has just been ridiculous this game. That's the Ymir really comes down to holding a Grove.
And then we're just attacking with our 2 might unit into the 10 defense, the 10 might White Flame Protector. Okay. Yep. Primal Strength. Draw a card. We do need to have another buff, though. 9 to 10, not enough. And there it is, on guard.
Yeah.
All right. And Nulm not
So
just
that's what it's
gonna...
on.
Yeah. Nulm not gonna convincingly just take that one down. An early lead off of Grove of the God Willows just completely took over the game. That was like 2 or 3 extra cards drawn. And, that's all it takes to really break open the mirror match, I would say. So I have a feeling, like you mentioned, that we're going to see something very similar happen, just for the other side. It being okay. I thought we were about to get to a glimpse into the hand here to see all these, but I suppose we're just going to shuffle up for the next game. Any sideboard cards that you like in this matchup? How would you approach this matchup from a sideboarding perspective? You mentioned Blitzcrank as one of the better cards. What other options are there?
So me personally, I really like Blitzcrank and I really like Mystic Reversal in this matchup a lot. This is one of those matchups where Mystic Reversal steals like even if you steal the 2-cost buff that draw the card, that's really good. That's like you get the buff instead and you draw the card instead, which can completely blow out. But really you want to steal Primal.
Yeah. Stealing Primal on a critical combat turn sounds like it would just snap the game in half, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I don't see a lot of reversals yet, but maybe people realize it leads to blowout games. Where like if you hit it on a critical turn, you just win the game on the spot. And then Blitzcrank is just like an oppressive value engine in the mirror. I don't know if people are. I haven't seen it a lot yet, but the people who are aware of it, it's really ridiculous. You just start. You basically can start blitzcranking every turn, and then you save your Zanya. When you have the blitzcrank angle, you save Zanya for blitzcrank. So if they ever do deal with blitzcrank, you just Zanya it, and then
Yeah.
like you secure a hold, and then it just bounces itself back. So you have blitzcrank's issue is like you hold with blitzcrank, and then you're blitzcranking every turn, so they can never actually establish a board ever again.
Fair enough. Yeah, we're gonna get into game two number here. Start tip peak revealed for both players. When you hold here, channel one rune exhausted. 4 cards in hand here. This time Yorick is going to be going first, and so maybe we'll get to see. Well, you know what? I almost wonder. This is maybe a sigh of relief here for Nolnot because Grove of the Godwillows, really rewards you for going first. Now, a little bit less so. I think a lot less pressure when the value engine is like generating one extra
Yeah, this
rune
is
as
a
opposed to
very funny second second battlefield reveal.
yeah. Looking back into game one, I'm actually kind of shocked that the turn one play was Zanya's into first mate, and Nomnot was still able to take it. But in this game, we're going to see turn one Stalwart Poro, 3 energy on the other side here for Nomnot. That leads us to Sunlit Guardian, very nice. How do you feel about this card? This is a tech piece that I've seen as like a one of in a couple Master E builds. Is it slowly gaining more popularity? Is it actually good?
I play it as a 1 to 2 of. It's good when you're going second. Like a lot of times, if I know I'm going second, I'll sideboard out my 2 costs. Like I'll sideboard out all my Poros, and then just these guys are better than Poro if you're going second. It's pretty much that. Like these guys in the first mate's obviously like the untapping, so that's relevant late game. But this guy's definitely better than Poro if you're going second.
All right. So it looks like Pit Rookie is going to buff the Stalwart Poro. Poro is going to enter into the top star tipped peak. And now with 5 cards in hand, Nolnot's going to awaken. And what is our plan here? Oh, looks like it's just Snapvine on the Poro.
That's a pretty good play because he only has 2 up, and not a lot of the buffs can do anything. Yeah,
Yeah. It would have to be something super weird like double on guard or something.
yeah, it'd have to be double on guard, and at that point, like you're eating 2 cards for 1.
Yeah, which is a win in and of itself. And I think this is like where like I would almost say like you can see the difference in the value of the battlefield, which is like if it's like Dreaming Tree, or if it's like Grove of the Godwillows, you may even be able to justify double on guard because you're going to draw a card on your next turn. But in this instance, just for channeling one rune, like the reward is just clearly not there.
He is low on runes though, so he could play for a rune advantage. Like if he doesn't use any power this turn, he could set up for a white flame next turn.
Yeah, White Flame didn't feel as game ending as I thought it would be in the first game, but in this one where you have that the rune disparity, I think it'd be actually much better here, right? And you go 8
Yep.
runes versus like 5 or 7 even, like being
Yeah,
able
he's
to White
gonna
Flame and know that there's not a White Flame coming back is kind of big game.
on guard. Okay. That guy also sees some play. I don't like it as much as the other guy because 2 toughness base power dies to Ballista, but Ballista is new tech, so if people aren't aware of Ballista, I can definitely see them still playing this guy in their deck.
All right, so Wielder of Water is in play in base for Yorick. No, I'm not going to awaken. Has 5 runes available. And we have pushed the Snapvine into the start tip peak. That's gonna ready. Oh, we're gonna ready the carnivorous Snapvine with first mate. I don't really know if there's much to do here. Like we've readied it, yes, but I don't know. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I actually really like this charm.
Yeah, and you see, like, he leaves up 1 rune with this play, but Blitzcrank would have accomplished the same goal. Um, it's just an interesting card to see in this mirror, but I don't know if people are playing it yet. But Charm is definitely very broken. He has no white flame target anymore either.
I think that's the big thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is the turn that White Flame could come down, and very cleanly Nulmnot has taken that option off the table. I do feel like Snapvine was actually how Nulmnot was able to pivot and control game number 1, take over the Grove of the Godwillows in game 1. And we're sort of seeing a repeat of that here as well, where we played the Snapvine when our opponent was low on open energy, so we would force a very profitable exchange for us, where it's like just like very tempo positive, right? Delete their unit, put a very tanky unit into our or beefy unit into our base, and then sort of take that and see how far we can go. Now, we'll see if there's anything that Yorick can do here. I mean, pseudo accelerating Kiana to draw a card is not that bad. Fortunately, the point lead is not as massive as it was last game, so there's
No, there's a
still plenty of
lot of room for back and forth here for sure.
yes, exactly. All right, so we're gonna hide a card here again, likely Azanias, but you never know. Nolnut's gonna hold. Channeler Rune exhausted thanks to the start tip peak. Is drawn to 4 cards, and now the question is, what is the next move we make to secure this game in our favor? Do we go after the other start tip peak? Do we try to just reinforce the battlefield that we're holding? How about a Snapvine number 2? That comes at a big cost, though. You had just had to pay 3 runes, recycle 3 runes to pay for the Snapvine's cost and then deflect just to trade with Azanias. Is that worth it?
Um, maybe. The issue here is if White Flame comes down here, and the Skiana starts getting frisky.
Right? It's really bad then.
Yeah, because Kiana could take the Snapvine with a White Fang, and then it's going to be hard to deal with the Kiana. He'd have to buff the. He does ramp up, so he goes to 7 next turn.
All right, spending 3, 4, 5. Maybe for a Snapvine of our own. You could play Snapvine here, go after. Yep, the first mate. Recycling 2 body runes. Notably, one of the reasons why Snapvine is actually so good in this mirror match is because the Yi passive only works in combat, and with this like a challenge ability that's kind of stapled onto Snapvine, you are effectively circumventing that +2 might buff. So
Yeah, one of my friends is convinced one of the paths to the mirror is bringing in your the anti-Kaisa tech, the unyieldings, just for Snapvine because it's so relevant. I don't know if I believe him or not yet, but I haven't tested it yet. He just told me that yesterday. Because unyielding does stop the Snapvine damage.
really interesting play here, which was to play the pit rookie, but Yorick chose to buff the carnivorous Snapvine in the base rather than maybe buff something like Kiana. And the upside to buffing something like Kiana, you put her at 5. When she gets attacked, she goes up to 7. 7 is bigger than this is 6 from the Snapvine. That's on the other side of the table. This might insinuate to me that we actually don't have a way to protect our Kiana from a combat trick. Oh, but we do have Defy. And Defy gets defied. Okay. I will draw my card. I will gain my might. Yeah, so if I had to guess, the buff onto the Snapvine would insinuate to me that that last card in Yorick's hand is not a buff. But I could be very wrong. We also had an
So I think the
opportunity.
assumption is that he's going to lose his guy no matter what because Normnot's hand was so large. So he wanted the buff on a character that would be relevant going into the future. Oh, God.
That's brutal. Oh, no.
That might just be game. That's really disgusting.
Yeah. Charm is going to bring the 7 might carnivorous Snapvine that Yorick has. And it's just going to get eaten up by the newly buffed Snapvine that Normnot has. 8 versus 7. Buffed from the Yi passive. Draws to 2 cards here, but we're behind on both battlefields. I mean, we can't even play White Flame Protector now. Those charms came down at like the exact perfect moment for
I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong, Dylan. I was just going off of what someone told me. I have never tested it myself.
Oh, is it in the newly released FAQ? Because I remember there was a comment made about like how challenge and stuff like that couldn't be stopped by something like Unyielding Spirit, or maybe there was some weird stuff. I'll definitely go and check out the FAQ to see what's up. All right, well, that is certainly a sign, if not anything. We had to bring in Master Yi from our Chosen Champion zone. We have no open energy. And there are no like free spells that we can play from our hand, right? Yeah. So since there are no free spells here, then we get the green light here to play our own Master Yi, 6 might, ready, going in against the 5 might that the buff first mate's going to have. And that's going to just be a clean 2-0 here from Nullnot, winning the Yi mirror. You know, you mentioned that going first is very important in this matchup, but I feel like Nullnot put up a great show on how to come back from...
Yeah, it was a masterclass on the Ymir. He played it really, really well. Completely blew out his opponent.